Here we go. Episode 114, Thursday, May 23rd. It's an early one. Now, you're not listening to this live, but I'm going to release it earlier. Now, the reason I was going to release it earlier is because we've got a Mariners game that's starting this morning against the New York Yankees. But if you're following anything there in New York City and our good buddy Ryan Divish, it's pouring buckets. They're not going to play baseball today in New York. That ain't happening. There is no way. So if you had breakfast plans to watch the Mariners play the Yankees today, yeah, that's not going to happen. That is, as we record this just about an hour or so before it's supposed to start, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen today. So we don't get a bitch and moan about the lineup today because Scotty Service has made a lineup change today. He has dropped Julio Rodriguez all the way down to 6 in the batting order. So he's hitting JP first, leadoff. Spit it out, Puck. Hey, welcome in. It's the Daily Puck Drop. I'm so excited to get this started early that I forgot to tell you what the hell you're listening to and watching. Hello, how are you? It's the DPD. We do it every single day. We release it usually at 10, but we're releasing it earlier today. I think I mentioned this before. It's episode 114 here on a wonderful Thursday. We've got a lot of football today. We're going to talk to Rob Staten, SeahawksDraftBlog.com. Thanks to Superior Linen Service. John, you're the best. Also, we've got Mikey Garofolo, all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Zogs on Fox Island. Love you, boys. Thank you so much. So we do a lot of football today, but we'll touch on first on baseball. Before we get there, big thanks to however you are taking this in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Pass it on to your friends. Please leave a comment. Please like it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get those numbers skyrocketing, please. And then also on Amazon. I always should say Amazon, but Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music. Download that app, Android users, wherever you find your podcasts. Please like, subscribe, download, comment if you can. Okay, I'm done. That's my spiel, and then I'll shut up, okay? So J.P. Crawford is hitting leadoff. Dylan Moore is hitting second. Red Hot Luke Raley is hitting third. He is in left field today, followed by Mitch Garver is hitting cleanup, hitting fourth. Then Dom Canzone fifth. Rodriguez sixth. Rojas seventh. France 8th, and then Saval at 9th. Here's what I don't get. Why are we rewarding Mitch Garver? The hell's Mitch Garver done this year? Why is he hitting cleanup? Done nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, I get you want to move him down and maybe send a message, and that's fine, and maybe it works, and maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. My 2 cents on Julio is this: like moving him down in the order to give him less at bats is not a good thing. I mean, maybe you want to clear his head. You can also just give him a day off if you want to clear his head. Moving him down in the order to number 6, I don't know. I mean, are you trying to piss him off, trying to motivate him that way? Sure, but I would just say if you're going to move him down the order, okay, move him to cleanup. Let him hit cleanup. I mean, hitting him 6, I want to maximize his opportunity. He's going to come up to the plate, not take it away. But I would just ask Scott Service, what has Mitch Garver done? Mitch Garver has been an absolute turd when they have acquired him. He's done nothing for them. Why does he hit cleanup? But it has been a frustrating season for Julio, and he is more frustrated than we all are because he is the straw that stirs the drink there for the Mariners. The crazy thing with the Mariners is that they are, you look at their record right now, and I know the division's bad, whatever. So what, the division is bad. But they are, okay, take the division away here for a second because it's bad. Because I've heard that. Well, it's a bad division, so they're leading a bad division. They've taken 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, who most people consider one of the best teams in the American League. All right, well, they're not that bad if they've just done that. I mean, currently, you could talk about the division all you want, but they've got the 5th best record of the American League. No one is pulling away from this thing. I mean, they're 6.5 back of the Yankees, 6 back of the Guardians, and 4.5 back from the Royals right now. I don't think maybe the Yankees are the one team, and then I think when the Orioles and they got everything going. Those 2 teams are the top teams in the American League. All right. Well, Seattle has shown an ability to play with all of them. They are an immensely flawed baseball team. I think we all know that. They are a frustrating baseball team. To me, it's been one of the more just exciting seasons to watch because they piss you off so much of how they play, especially early on in these games. As we wrapped with Divish yesterday about it. For you viewers, you see this. Listeners, pause for a sip of coffee. Need that caffeine. Okay, especially after a long night. Fisher Plumbing, tough one. Tough one yesterday, but it was a great game. 7-3 we lost to the mighty Ballard Nordics. First round of our round robin playoff seedings. But hey, boy, did we get some good pitching performances all around and some great defense. God, we had some great defense. Jesus. Kid that's first year playing, bases loaded, out in left field, snow cone catch. Unbelievable. Diving catches all the way around. We played quite well. Both teams played quite well defensively. Back to the M's, though, who, for the most part, have played okay on defense. They ran into it last night. Bryce Miller, all the home runs. I mean, listen, Volpe and Soto and Judge, there isn't a better one. I mean, my God, that 1-2-3 rivals, what the Dodgers are doing. It is just, it's a murderer's row, right? It's old Yankees. That is just to face that right away. And those guys produced, or at least Soto and Judge produced 3 home runs. They drove in 5. I mean, you weren't going to hold them down all series. They had their one game, but it's still at the same time after Cal's 3-run home run, which did kill us on the Bet M's under summer tour, which, we'd like to win those a little bit. But that 3-run home run threw that away because the total last night was 8. So that was a big home run there for Cal Raleigh, and a big home run for those who are betting on the under. All right, thanks, Cal. But they're right back in it. I mean, one swing, and this just goes to what they do 7th inning on. They are one of the best offenses in baseball from the 7th inning on. And they kind of, showed that, glimpse of it last night. That's why they're immensely frustrating, because they don't do anything at all, especially with Nestor Cortez, where they had him on the rope so many times. 2nd inning was one of those where they just had guys on and they're striking out and they didn't take advantage of it. That's where they desperately need to get better at, is taking advantage of the starters early on. But back to Julio for a second. I mean, I get it to a degree. I think this is more of a psychological move for Scott Service than anything, to move him down in the order. I don't know. I don't know why I'm stuck on Mitch Garver. I don't know why this team, it's so hard to find guys that can play that DH role. I just don't get why it's so hard. But it's just every time they acquire offensive talent, it just does not work out. God, I don't know why. Yeah, except for Luke Raley. I mean, Luke Raley's kind of worked out. Not kind of worked out. He has worked out for him. So we'll see what if they do play baseball today, which again is highly unlikely that they are going to play baseball today. But if they do, Julio Rodriguez hitting 6 today in that Mariners lineup, which again, he's been disappointing. He's become a singles hitter. I think there's the simplest solution in the world. And I just honestly, at some time, just do not get why he just doesn't do it. Just go back to what you were doing last year. Just go back to your old swing. That's all you got to do. That's it. It's not that hard. And I think players like Julio and golfers, I always think baseball players and golfers are so similar, because when it comes to their swing, they just tinker so much with it rather than just sit there and we have had success with it. Let's keep it. We don't need to do anything different. If you're a golf fan, and there's probably some of you are, Victor Hovland was like one of the best players last year on the PGA Tour. Did he win the FedEx Cup? I think he did. Fact check me on that one, okay? I can't remember if he did or not, but I'm pretty sure he did. But red hot. What does he do in the offseason? He changes his swing. He like all of it. For what reason? There was no reason for Victor Hovland to do anything to his swing, but he ultimately did. And then he comes out and he's terrible. He's just awful all year. And finally, I think he reverted back to some of his past last year. And what did he do at the PGA Championship? He was great. He was great. But Julio needs to look at film of last year and see what he was doing and just go back to it. Because the changes that he has made, these subtle little changes, that's just not working for him. I mean, the guy, he's slugging 318 right now. I mean, my God, Luis Urias is slugging better than him. Zavala is slugging better than him. Rojas is slugging better than him. I mean, Dylan Moore. I mean, that cannot be happening for him. He cannot be putting up these numbers. I mean, Moore, Raleigh, Rojas, all better wars than him. I mean, his average is okay. I mean, he's hitting 263, but the problem is he's hitting a bunch of singles. That's all he's hitting is singles. Of his 52 hits, 5 doubles, not 1 triple, 2 home runs, and he's got 14 runs driven in. It's just, he just sometimes players overthink it. And all you need to do is simplify. I'll go back to Bill Kruger on Monday's show when he was talking about the pitchers. Just simplify. And I think the less information and the less tinkering sometimes for these players, and I think specifically for Julio, he would be wise to stop doing what he is doing and just go back to his swing, which he had immense success with last year. I mean, this guy did he finish 3rd or 4th in the MVP voting? Remember, and he said, I thought it was kind of a disappointing season. Now, did he fade at the end of the year? Fine. But if a disappointing season is 275 with a 333 on base percentage, slugging 485, and his OPS is 818, and he hits 32 bombs and he drives in 103. Sorry, Shockey, RBIs matter. I'll take that disappointing season. But that's all I would be doing. Watching old videos, seeing how I used to swing, and going back to that. And I'm convinced he used to do this because I would show our Little League kids this. That was a great little tip about getting your elbow on the inside so you get the knob on the inside when swinging. He would do that little flap with his elbow. Does he even do that anymore at all? I just don't tinker anymore. Revert back. You're a baseball player. Swing naturally. Have fun. Release the tension. He looks up there like he's just a wadded ball of like rubber bands, and he's wound so tight right now, and he needs to relax a little bit. So if they do play, he's hitting 6 today. I don't think we're going to see him hit him 6, but whenever they play again, he'll most likely be back down in that order. If they do play, the total runs this morning, a courtesy there of the DraftKings Sportsbook app, is 8. We have currently 7, 13, and 1 on the Bet M's Under Summer Tour. Luis Castillo gets the ball today, 3.28 ERA against Luis Gil, who's got a 2.39 ERA. Okay, so speaking of the Mariners, I want to go back to, because this generated a lot of buzz yesterday, was when during Ryan Divish's episode, his podcast, which was Take Two. We did 2 of them yesterday, a total of about 100, or a total of about 60 minutes, because this guy had the wrong recording setting when we did it the first time. And then he comes back after his long walk through Central Park eating pizza, and he's in a tank top. The man looked beautiful. And there's a lot of feedback, especially from our female listeners. We have 2, and they were excited about his tank top performance. And then they said, you don't ever wear a tank top. We don't want to see your fat ass in one and your man boobs hanging out. I took great offense to that. But you know what? Sometimes the truth hurts people. And Divish was kind enough to come back. We recorded it again. And one thing that we didn't talk about in the first episode, was this talk of Pete Alonso being available. And if he's available, as Jim Duquette said on Monday's podcast, go back and listen to that. It's great. It's really good just talking about the trade scenarios with Pete Alonso. Jim Duquette is awesome. Him and Jim Bowden have just a great show on Sirius XM. It's just 2 GMs talking baseball. And Jim said, yeah, I mean, Alonso will be available. It's going to hurt, though. even though he's going to be a free agent, it's going to hurt with someone like Harry Ford. So I brought that up to Divish yesterday. Harry Ford, could you part with Harry Ford? And Divish said, well, yeah, because he expects Ford to be moved.
Well, I think they're going to trade Harry Ford one way or the other to get a bat if they're going to go for a bat. You look at kind of how the organization is set up, and I think they still believe Cal is in their long-term plans. I think they would love to sign him to an extension if he would. So you have your catcher in place. So Harry's value right now is probably as the highest it's ever going to be. You probably make a move that way.
So he expects not just even for Pete Alonso, but for anything, for any type of move, he expects Harry Ford to be dealt. He's got 9 hits in his past 5 games, AA Arkansas. He's killing it. Okay, this season he in the Texas League, Harry Ford has been sensational. 275. He's got an OPS of 911. He's got 5 dongs. He's got 17 runs driven in. He's 10th in slugging percentage in the Texas League, which is a great test, obviously, down there. He is 5th in OPS. He's the 28th overall prospect in Major League Baseball. He's the number 2 in the Mariners organization. You hear Divish saying there, just not Pete Alonso, but he expects Ford to be dealt. At least that's just, he's not reporting that he's going to be. He just says, I expect him to be dealt. If they're going to go and acquire a bat, that's who teams are going to call on. Could you package Ford and even Emerson Hancock for something even bigger? Maybe someone that is not Pete Alonso. Maybe someone that does have some time left on their contract. I think that they can part. I think they can part with both if it's the right player. Is that Pete Alonso? I don't know. I got to think more about that. You know, it's a calculated risk because Pete Alonso is not signed through next season because he's going to be a free agent, and Scott Boras is his agent, and you know Scott Boras wants him to go to free agency. The other side of me says, F it, man. Pull the trigger. Let's go. I'm not concerned about the pitching depth in this organization. I'm not concerned about losing someone like Emerson Hancock. I'll be honest with you. What we've seen from Brian Wu, if we compare and contrast Brian Wu against Emerson Hancock, I mean, I think, frankly, at this point in their careers, it's not really close who's the better pitcher is. I mean, clearly it's Brian Wu. Wu is the one that's here, and Hancock is not. They got 5 solid guys. What they have been so good at, and what you have to, you know, the old baseball cliche, tip your hat to. They are so good at acquiring talent through college baseball pitchers. They're so good at it. They'll find another Emerson Hancock. I'm convinced of that. If someone else values Emerson Hancock, great, and you can package him with Harry Ford to move on, yeah. And I think I've talked myself into that happening with Alonso. They just desperately need another bat. They need a thumper in this lineup. And I think a guy like Alonso could be that. And I'm willing to risk it, even though that you wouldn't be able to sign him. Maybe you can. Maybe you get him, and he's in your facility. He's in your organization, and you can convince him to stay. It's going to be a tough sell. He knows people don't like hitting there, especially early in the season. He hears the bitches and the gripes and the moans about it. You're going to have to, if you do sign him, you're going to have to overpay for him, but that's on John Stanton and Chris Larson. You guys keep talking about how you want to build a winner. You keep talking in interviews, well, not Chris Larson, but John Stanton, about how you have one goal. That old goal is just to win a World Series. Then, if that's the goal, John, we pleaded to you last time, then do something about it. And give the green light to make a move like this. Will Ford sting? Yeah. If he turns out to be a really good player, as he looks like he's going to be, yeah, it's going to sting. But that happens. You know, we have no idea Ford is going to be good. You know that a guy like Alonso is good. He's proven at the major league level. Ford's proven nothing at the major league level. Don't get so scared about prospects. God, they're prospects. Most of them don't work out. Most of them flame out. Now, if you do make the trade, John, you've got to have to open up the wallet again, twofold. One, if you were to keep Alonso, but 2, the priority is Cal Raleigh. Because if you trade him, now you don't have a catcher. And Cal Raleigh is got to stay with this team. They cannot let Cal Raleigh go sign someplace else. They cannot do it. They've got to give him an offer that keeps him a Mariner for life. One of the dumbest trades I'm looking back on, obviously, is the Veritek one. And I'm not going to say, if you trade Raleigh becomes Jason Veritek. But they're so similar in a lot of ways, just in terms of how they carry themselves, their leadership. The offensive capability of Cal's great. Defensively, he's solid. The way he handles all the pitchers. He is exactly what you want in a catcher. The whole total package. Leadership, great on the field, great off the field. Don't let him leave. They did make a minor trade yesterday. They got bullpen help from the Orioles. Mike Bowman, who was released or designated for assignment the other day. They acquired him via trade with the Orioles. Also, minor league catcher Michael Perez for AAA catcher Blake Hunt. So Bowman designated for assignment recently. 3.44 ERA in 17 appearances, 16 Ks, 9 walks, and 18 in the third innings. Got a nice fastball, 96, plus a slider, and another breaking pitch, a knuckle curve. So good. They need bullpen help. So nice. They need bullpen help, and it was a great move to add depth to that bullpen. They'll continue to probably do more of that because they need some arms down there because they just can't rely on Andres Munoz the entire time. Seahawks OTA's first look are out. The media was out there on Wednesday, there to go watch the guys roll around in jerseys and hats and all that kind of stuff. And they did something different. They don't have practice jerseys this year. I guess that I read all the stories, and that's the biggest piece of information, that they don't really wear practice jerseys anymore. The red jerseys are out for the quarterbacks. They wear like the royal blue, the old school throwback uniforms for the quarterbacks. And then they wear their game stuff. Because as Mike McDonald said, I think it was from John or Jim, one of the Harbaughs, that they want to treat it more like, the game atmosphere, look like you're playing in a game when you go practice. Okay. All indications are it's a little bit more buttoned down, not as loose and free as it once was there with Pete Carroll. We knew that was kind of going to be the case. You can't replicate Pete Carroll. And it would have been disingenuous if Mike McDonald came out and tried to replicate what Pete Carroll was. Now, you're going to say, well, when are you bitching and moaning about the pictures and all that? Yeah, but I still stand by that. I think it was a stupid decision what he did. I'm going to stand by it. I'm not going to harp on it again. I think it was dumb. I think you should embrace your past, and you should, and the visuals should be up there. Okay, that's just me, but whatever. You fans will never see it, but the players will, and exactly. Okay, I said I wasn't going to move. I was going to move on, but you pissed off the former players, and that's exactly what I said was the problem. Why you shouldn't have done it. That because you pissed off the guys that used to play there. It was dumb, but let's go back to the present and what's pressing. A little bit more serious, detail oriented. Fine. He doesn't have to be Pete Carroll. Mike McDonald has to be Mike McDonald, and he's got to establish that right away. And it sounds like he's doing that. There is always a honeymoon period of a new coach, and you're going to see that with him. I'm just excited to see what he's going to do defensively. Excited to see like a head coach come into the NFL who's calling the plays, but calling the plays on defense. We hire all these whiz kids, and I guess you can kind of put them in that whiz kid territory. But when you hire these whiz kids, it's always on the offensive side. It's never on the defensive side. So it was cool to hear these guys yesterday talk about how, we're going to try and confuse the offense. We're going to try and, show them different things, pre-snap, post-snap adjustments, all things offenses do against defenses that he's now taken on the defensive side to the offensive side. Pretty cool. I'm excited to see, how it all takes shape. An exciting season, I think, for the Seahawks because it's brand new. Christian Haynes worked with the second unit at right guard. He's going to battle with Anthony Bradford, but Bradford was out that injury. So Haynes was on the second unit. I wouldn't read too much into it. Maybe like a little, whatever. He's getting his feet wet. I mean, it's going to be Christian Haynes starting at right guard. And if it's not Christian Haynes starting at right guard, then I think they screwed up on the pick. He better be their starting right guard. Who will be starting at right tackle? Hopefully, fingers crossed, go Cougs. It's Abe Lucas. But Lucas, again, still recovering from that knee surgery in the offseason. Mike McDonald gave a little bit of an update on it, just said, hey, we don't know much. Doesn't know when he'll be back. They hope by training camp. He said camp, and I assume that's training camp. The agent for Abe Lucas, if you remember when myself and Garofolo were doing the NFL draft show, the agent was texting Garofolo at that time and said he had the surgery. He's going to be ready for training camp. So hopefully he is. They have the insurance policy with Fant, so they can use him there, but we need Abe Lucas to be back. Geno Smith was really bullish on that offensive line yesterday, saying it's going to be the best in football, the best ever. That's just a quarterback, just giving those guys a pat on the ass, but okay. Here's the one area that I would say is a concern, and it should be a concern. So we know what their linebacker situation is. Tyrell Dodson, their middle linebacker, then Jerome Baker is their weak side linebacker. Two guys they acquired in the offseason, Miami and Buffalo. 1-year deal, so they are not committed to either of these guys. Baker didn't practice because of a wrist injury, and Dodson was limited yesterday. Here's the issue. The backups were this. John Radigan at middle linebacker and Tyrese Knight, and then a second-year player, Patrick O'Connell, at weak side linebacker. They have no depth at linebacker. Zero. And if they've got to, at any point, rely on John Radigan, a rookie, and Patrick O'Connell to fill some playing time, they're going to be in deep shit. Okay? So, to Dodson and Baker, don't get hurt. Please stay healthy, for the love of God. And no, I don't want Jamal Adams. Baltimore, you keep him there. All right, we'll wrap it up with, hey, what the puck? Lots of feedback on the tipping. We got to do a poll question on this one. I think I'm going to throw a poll question up. Lots of feedback on the tipping. Now, there's a lot of sarcasm in this one. If you're in the service industry, okay, I love you to death. Just understand there's a lot of sarcasm with this. If I get great service, am I not going to tip? Well, yeah, of course I'm going to, but I am kind of over tipping. It's just too much. Okay. And a lot of you on your feedback, whether it was on X or Instagram, you emailed me, puck@pucksports.com. Also, you can respond now for the first time ever. I've never done it. I've never had a Facebook page, but my the CEO said you should probably have a Facebook page. So there's a Facebook page up there, Puck Sports. Just search it, follow it there. We'll throw a poll question up at some point on this, the tipping. It's just too much. It's just all of it. I'm tired of tipping. I'm just over it. And what I do, this is why I carry cash. If I do tip, I tip in cash. So they keep it. They're going to report any of it. And that's what I would suggest to you. If you go out to dinner, go out anywhere, and you want to tip from anyone that works in that industry, bring cash and use that as the tip. So they'll share it, but they're not going to report any of it. So, but great feedback. Caitlin Clark made her debut, yesterday in Seattle as the Fever were taking on the Storm. It's crazy how popular she is, and it's amazing how teams treat her. But I tuned in, or I saw the replay of it. My good friends Dick Fain and Elise Woodward on the call, and you listen to their opening. The opening is all about her, as it should be. By the way, that's not a criticism of them and Fox 13 Plus that did it. The opening should be all about her. The pregame should be all about her, because this year's league and this year's WNBA is all about Caitlin Clark. LeBron came out with something on his podcast the other day, and he was right. And then Barkley, and this is why it pisses me off that Inside the NBA is going to go away. Most likely they're on TNT because the media deal is going to come out later this week, and it's going to suck. But hopefully those guys land someplace else. I really hopefully do. But I'm going to watch every single second of this on the Western Conference Finals. I wish the NBA Finals were on TNT. But they addressed this specifically. Barkley addressed this yesterday during the show because, again, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, all these players, butthurt that she's getting so much attention. And Barkley, as he always does, nailed it.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bring into the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all ass charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes. LeBron, you are 100% right. Y'all girls, stop being petty. Caitlin Clark, thank you for bringing all that money and shine to the WNBA.
He's right. I mean, because again, the biggest reason why people are tuning in, the biggest reason they had a climate pledge record yesterday was not for anybody else other than her. They had 18,343 people there yesterday. Their TV ratings are through the roof. Their draft was through the roof. All of it is because of her. And she's handled it beautifully. And she's taken her lumps, but she's going to be fine. And she's going to keep checks. She's going to keep receipts of everyone that's talking a lot of shit about her. But man, some of these older players, I get it's jealousy and it's anger because, hey, man, we were here before and we're great players. We didn't get this attention. I don't know what to tell you. It's just a different time. People captivated and were captivated by her. And it's probably what Magic and Bird went through when they were coming through. But she is going to change the game. So will this other wave of athletes. But she's going to be the one. You should be thanking her rather than just getting so mad at her all the time. But she handles it well. She gets shots after shots. She gets knocked to the floor. She gets hard screens. And that's great. That's all part of the being introduced to a league, right? To be initiated. She's taking it. She's taking it in stride. She's shooting. Her shooting is off a little bit. Her ball handling is elite. Her passing is elite. Her basketball knowledge is elite. And she'll be just fine. But amazing. 18,343 people there yesterday. Some great news on the movie front. Beverly Hills Cop is coming back to Netflix. Axel Foley is back. God, yes. I watched the preview. The whole cast is back. The original people are back. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch them. An ice cream note here on Hey What the Puck, and I saw this. Apparently, ice cream makers are going to make chocolate chip ice cream like a seasonal ice cream now because people aren't eating it anymore. The 2024 Ice Cream Frozen Novelty Trend Survey, I guess there was such a thing. This is what I do. International Dairy Foods Association. This is the type of stuff I look up. Says here are the America's top 10 favorite ice cream flavors. Okay, the first one I just don't get, and maybe it's because people put stuff on it, so fine. Vanilla. Yeah, but here's the reason why vanilla is not the top flavor. Because you got to add stuff to vanilla. You got to add toppings to vanilla. You got to add chocolate sauce to vanilla, caramel sauce, whatever sauce you want, you've got to add to it. No one eats vanilla by itself. And if you eat vanilla by yourself, you're a weirdo. That means you have a van with no windows and you live at home. It's odd. No one does that. Why would you eat vanilla by itself? Chocolate's number 2, then strawberry, butter pecan 4. Cookie dough 5, cookies and cream 6, mint chocolate chip 7, chocolate chip 8th, Rocky Road, terrible, just terrible. 9th, and here's one that's this should be number 1, peanut butter cup. How is peanut butter cup 10th? And how is peanut butter cup behind Rocky Road? F you. No way. No way is Rocky Road better than peanut butter cup. Here are some other flavors that people, I guess, are trending to right now. And you people are weird. These ice cream flavors are eaten by people that name their kids Dax and Jude. Well, not Jude, like Jazz. Okay. People like that. Nash. Sorry if you name your kids Nash and, Dax. But this is what this is. Chili lime mango, Nutella cookie crunch, coffee caramel crunch. Well, actually, that sounds pretty good. Lemon poppy seed. No. No. Earl Grey raspberry. No. Saffron. No. And then something called exhausted parent. I don't know what that is, but that's me. Okay, that's it. The Daily Puck Drop, the DPD in the books. That's Hey What the Puck. We do it every single day, Monday through Friday. We drop it at 10, but we're dropping this one early today. Please like and subscribe if it's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. Please subscribe. You can also catch everything up at pucksports.com. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!